Chapter 12 of the book of Genesis. We're going to do one verse in chapter 12 and one verse in chapter 13 and one verse at the end of 13. There's a theme thing going on that Maggie is going to talk to us about. God appeared to Abraham, and God said, I will give you this land and for your children. And Abram built an altar at that place, the place where God had appeared to him. And then again in chapter 13, Abraham moved on from the Negev, camping along the way to Bethel, the place where he had first set up his tent, between Bethel and Ai. And he built an altar there. Abraham prayed to God. In the very last verse of chapter 13, Abraham moved his tent, and he went and settled by the oaks of Mamre in Hebron. And there he built an altar to God. Abraham was a mobile altar builder, because we can mark every place that God meets us as a holy space.
We're going to continue that conversation of altars and Abraham's as well as mine today. I'm Maggie, as Pastor Roy mentioned, and I'm on Crossroads staff, as well as, I know I don't have my people here, but you're my people. So I'm from Champaign, Illinois. But my story today is actually about making a journey from Champaign, Midwest, out to the West Coast. So I have my West Coast people here. Yeah. Got my Midwest people? So my journey compared to Abraham's, actually it wasn't even supposed to happen. I was supposed to be in Croatia, and I had this friend who was supposed to be overseas in Ireland doing some photography work, and it just so happened that both our plans kind of crumbled, and we ended up spending a week together driving out to the West Coast, just on a whim. We just decided to go. She was going to kind of follow and pursue her heart, and where God was leading her with her passions, and I just was the roadie companion. But compared to Abraham, my journey looks relatively straight. I think the people who know me best would think I kind of ping-pong around all over the place, so that's doing pretty good for me. But my hope for us is on all of our journeys that we are building quality relationships and considering what that looks like for ourselves and God's influence on that path. So Abraham did this so well. What are altars exactly? He built altars to acknowledge God and how he showed up along the way. And something interesting about that is he actually used physical stone structures to remember. He built them to remember some high point in his life, some important pinnacle moment, if you will, to pursue a relationship with Christ. And it acted as a visual reminder. So we're going to have a few visual reminders along our way. We have a nice clothesline. It's going to be our timeline of altars. So I think I might start out with, I have a basic friend out there who I think I have a map somewhere on me. Wait, which side? Do you see? If I don't have anything? So, these altars are different for all of us, right? We're building them to remember, not just for us, but to tell our stories so other people can come back to them and remember something important along the way. Thank you. There They're a place to worship, a place to recognize God in our lives. And Abraham might have built these stone structures, but I think our modern day church is the best example of altars. A place to come, a place to gather. What we're doing right here, right now. And for me, that's a little different too. My altars, and your altars too, might look a little different than a church structure. So the way I call out to God to worship Him is not necessarily through music or this gathering place, but simply by looking up. My favorite is actually just to get outside and go for a long run, and that's where I connect with God. For some reason, my mind clears, everything melts away, and He provides me with answers. So, along your journeys, I ask you, what is it that connects you with God? What is it that makes you stop, slow down, and listen, and build that relationship? Because relationships take time. And to facilitate it, we have to acknowledge it. Have you stopped long enough to consider what it is for you? What your altars are? Abraham's biggest mistake, and mine too, came from not taking the time to worship, to build the altars, to talk about them. Because that's how we build relationships, getting vulnerable. So, back to my journey. I recently had a series of unfortunate events. Fortunate godly events. It actually worked out in a really interesting way. He allowed me to recognize His influence in my life on a particularly less than ideal road trip. I mean, every road trip has its ups and downs, right? Especially when you're in a car with somebody who you know. It doesn't matter if you know well or not well, things come up, right? So my roadie companion and I chose to build altars along the way, with these less than ideal circumstances rolling themselves out. I laugh at this next slide because with all these things coming up, a car breaking down, not just breaking down, but leaving it in Utah, breaking down. That was all we could do. All we could do was laugh. It was already a stressful journey going from the Midwest, making our way to Colorado. We're just let's book it, let's get out of here, push through the 15 hours, and then start our journey and try to slow down after that. But 18 hours into the drive, with 2,000 plus miles yet to go, westbound, our original goal, like I said, was to get my friend to pursue her dream, the call that God placed on her life to do photography lifestyle. She had a few gigs for the summer, and we were ready to pursue that. But Utah had other ideas for us. So most people leave their hearts in places. We left our car in a place called Utah. Utah, though, it was a grateful experience, actually. Things could have gone a lot worse. We could have had a fire in our engine instead of it just breaking down on the side of the road. We could have been in an extreme situation. It's really hot out there, if you can imagine that. So we broke down at just the perfect time. It was 8 p.m. It wasn't too late where it was getting cold and dark. It wasn't too early in the day where it was super hot and we would have been dying. We had multiple people come check on us. And eventually, this guy named Mike showed up. And all we could do was be grateful because he showed up. He showed up for us and went above and beyond what any regular AA person would do, and just get us into our car. He found solutions. He helped us solve a problem. and was willing to accommodate for what we were lacking in. So this relationship that we had built with this man in such a short time, we just felt God's love and hospitality shining through from day one. And we built this altar of praise. Praise for what little we had at the time, leaving with a lot less money in our pockets, without a vehicle and without a place to stay, actually, going into that. So because we broke down and had to find a new place to stay, our original destination was out of the question. We had to build a new altar and an altar of reverence. Granted, we didn't get to do our cliffside boutique hotel or one splurge for the trip, but we decided it wasn't going to get us down, it didn't matter, but we were going to check it out. I mean, we had to at least show up and see what we were missing out on. Jennifer, the manager, we went in to tell our story to her. We didn't know she was the manager at the time. And once again, we were met with this wall of love and compassion. She took us in like one of her seven kids. And the stress of the last 24 hours, trying to find a place, figuring out a car, dealing with maybe our little bit clumsy selves. But she took us in, and that stress melted away, allowing us to actually hang out poolside for a little bit and regain our composure, if you will. Again, God was speaking through his people and through our vulnerabilities and our weakness. Where one thing after another just kept, once one thing starts, it's always another. That's how it works, right? So, nevertheless, our hearts were full of praise. We couldn't leave without writing this woman a letter, Jennifer, for being so Christ-like to us when she didn't need to. It's a business. People don't do that. They don't need to. They're about making money. But she opened up her heart, her space, and her time for us. So once again, seeing Christ in the journey. Did I mention we were a little bit strapped for cash? So because of that, some unexpected bills, we ended up changing our location from hotel to beach, sleeping under the stars, why not? In nature, completely knowing God is our ultimate caretaker. We shared our hurts and peace stories with some genuine actually the most genuine travelers I think I've ever met. The limitless ones, they call themselves on Instagram. Australian travel bloggers. And they invited us in to share a meal with them, by the campfire, and opened up about their difficulties traveling, as well as allowing us to just partake in a meal and have conversation and have a place to rest, even though it was not a bed with sheets and a pillow. They actually ended up going from the beach to sleeping in the Walmart parking lot. But nevertheless, giving what they had, a meal to share, conversation, and showing us peace, giving us their time. So on this journey, we get to recognize these things that people do for us that come into our lives, whether they're high or low points. And I think I have something else on my back. It's round and shiny, right? Is it still there? Okay. Do I have an advanced friend that can help me put this guy up? Thank you, Blake. The altar, they better equip us. Whether they're struggles or positives, they help us along our trek. Because no matter what, we're going to have to watch our footing, right? The ground's not always solid, it's not always perfect. But if I have friends like Blake here who are willing to help me out, it makes my load a little lighter. Makes it a little easier. And with that journey comes knowledge and wisdom. You're better able to face the challenges. And just when this starts getting lighter, then you can focus on what really matters. Your footing, your placement, the path ahead. Because we're living on an earthly kingdom. It's not our forever kingdom. So there's always going to be something, right? Some sunscreen. That's our journey. It's gone in an instant. So what we do here with our time matters. Because that's just here now. Our forever's in a different place. It's with our Heavenly Father. So as I continued this journey and headed home, eventually, I had some of my own thinking to do. Sitting in LA traffic gives you plenty of time to do that. I had a friend who I helped pursue her dream, the call that God placed on her heart. But I wasn't doing that for myself, per se. I started to remember and come back to who I was as a person and the gifts that God had placed in my life. Because they're all unique to us. Our journeys are unique, our gifts. And I knew I wasn't doing it well. So, of course, I had an outlandish idea of how to make it happen. I decided I'm going to quit my job. First things first. Got to get rid of the fat. Live in the most minimalist way and efficient way possible. Start my own local art business while teaching private lessons. My background's in teaching. And in my mind, that meant living with less and being fully reliant on God. No matter the consequences. And some good old-fashioned hustle, of course. So I got it started by turning my garage here into a studio apartment, transitioning my house into a full-time Airbnb. My family was so excited. You're all welcome to the Airbnb, by the way. Like, God laughed out loud. Not just laughed, but laughed out loud. And my family and friends thought I was crazy and lost it. But after a good chuckle, God stepped in, showed up, and wanted to put things in perspective, show me how it was really done. So he took 3 realistic seeds. Opportunities for me to lean into. That's what he does. He opens doors, right? We can choose to walk through them or choose not to walk through them. And those came in the relationship of three godly relationships I had built at some point along the way, spanning a seven-year gap, actually. One 7 years old, one 3 years old, one 1-year-old. And all these people out of nowhere started approaching me about not just job suggestions, but job offers. I didn't apply for anything. I wasn't looking. I was going to quit my job and just, go by the seat of my pants, essentially. And these weren't just regular jobs. They were my passion. Arts, people, serving, kindness. It was all three for art teaching positions. And if you know anything about arts in schools, they're getting cut left and right. These teaching jobs just don't come to you, especially art teaching positions. So I was shocked. I was humbled, and hands down knew, like, I had nothing to do with it. This wasn't a me thing, it was a God thing. Plus, when I left teaching a year ago, I walked away fully thinking I had, like, lit that on fire. It was no longer an option. And like I said, I wasn't looking to get back into it. So those people from my past came up in a real way. They were seeds that we had planted together along the way at some point. Relationships built, and altars coming together. The best part is really acknowledging God's involvement. The next season of my life, I'm reveling in that grace. So since we have some seeds planted, I think I have another thing. A phase 3 friend needing to help me out here. I'll get down for this one. Thank you much. Phase 3. So we build altars to acknowledge God in our lives. We've all got them, we all face them. Our influencer is God. When you look to social media and you hear about all these influencers, know in the forefront of your mind that all started with God. It wasn't anyone else. It was God first. And Abraham didn't just build these altars and walk away. He came back to each one in his story, and he talked about them. He shared them in his story along the journey. He remembered, he acknowledged God. What altars are you building? How are you acknowledging God and maintaining the relationship? That might look different for you than it does for your neighbor. How are you being faithful to the call that He's put uniquely on each of your lives? And if fear is what's holding you back, that's your reminder to lean in. To know that you're not fully taking God in and walking with Him and facing those challenges with Him by your side, knowing that it'll be hard, it'll be a struggle, but He's got your back and you have a support system that's bigger than just your nucleus. He's going to help you be the most authentic version of yourself. And as we go into that and practice it along our journey, it does get easier. I think I need a step forth friend to grab some shoes off me. Because we're all going somewhere, right? It's just that we're taking God and the people that inspire us along the way. So if you don't mind reading this a little bit with me. We love our comfort. We love our predictability. We want relief. We want a break. Hidden in every trying circumstance is an opportunity to experience God, to engage our faith and see Him move. He's using every nuance of your story to make you into someone you've never dreamed, or maybe always dreamed you could be. So, before we sing this next song together, I want you to reflect on the clothesline, on your journey. This was my journey, but you all have your own story, your own journey, and altars that you're remembering. Those things act as our past. They act as our future and what's yet to come, but also our present. The present life that God's breathing into us currently, and what's yet to come. It's remembering to find balance and recognizing where you came from, but more importantly, who God is in you. This earthly journey is not our ultimate stay. We have heaven and home waiting for us. And I'm excited to do this journey with you guys and meet you there sooner than later.